Collins recently. Hold on one second. Hillary Clinton is speaking right now. Let's listen in.
Various public figures and a news organization. Many of you and others across our country have asked after me and my family, and I'm very grateful for that. We are fine, thanks to the men and women of the Secret Service who intercepted the package addressed to us long before it made its way to our home. Every day, we are grateful for their service and commitment, and obviously never more than today. But it is a troubling time, isn't it? And it's a time of deep divisions, and we have to do everything we can to bring our country together. We also have to elect candidates who will try to do the same, who will set goals that will lift up every single Floridian and American, who will look into the future to understand what are the challenges we have to meet today so that our children and our grandchildren have the quality of life and the opportunities that we hope for them. Usually when people ask me how am I doing, which happens quite often, I say, well, as a person, I'm great. As an American, I'm worried. And it's actually for the same reasons. Partly why I am so great is because, with no offense to anyone, I have the most fabulous grandchildren in the entire world. But because I do now have these little precious people, I worry about the direction of our country. I worry about what kind of...
All right, that's Hillary Clinton. We were just taking a little bit of that. She was commenting on the threat to her and her family, the suspicious package mailed to her residence in Chappaqua, New York. Let me bring back Josh Campbell. And Josh, one of the things that she was talking about, Hillary Clinton was talking about, was just the political violence that we've seen, by which I'm not referring to people exercising their First Amendment right and yelling. I'm talking about people making threats to Senator Jeff Flake or Susan Collins, people shooting a bunch of Republican congressmen playing baseball, bombs or what appear to be bombs sent to John Brennan, care of CNN, the Obamas, the Clintons, George Soros. Is this an era where there has been an actual increase in this? I mean, I'm old enough to remember anthrax being sent to newsrooms and to senators in the immediate aftermath of 9/11. But historically, does this seem to be more of a problem now, or are we all just paying more attention to it?
No, it certainly seems that way. I mean, if you look at how toxic our political climate has become, if you look at how polarized we are as a nation, yeah, it feels like there is this increase. And one thing that's interesting, Jake, is, immediately after some type of catastrophe, or here it looks like a averted catastrophe with these devices, people always say, well, it's too soon to start talking about the method of attack here. I think that's nonsense, because as a former investigator, I can tell you one group of people that are ultimately immediately looking at the method of attack. That's the investigators who are trying to determine what happened. And in a situation like this, obviously you have the construction, you have, how did this person gather the material, but there's also the motivation, there's also the why. Something motivated this person to do this. Something inspired him, perhaps someone inspired him to do this. And if we don't identify what that is as a nation, then, we're whistling past the graveyard. These things are going to continue. The political debate will continue. Obviously, there will be a back and forth. But again, I think in a situation like this, we have to get to a point where we're at least adults enough to stop and try to figure out what caused this to happen, what motivated this. That's the only way you're going to stop it from happening in the future. Now, a lot of this, Jake, will obviously be determined once this person is actually apprehended and brought into custody. We'll know the full scope of the motivation. But as we look at this as members of the public, as members of the media, and through the lens of an investigator, it is hard not to look at these commonalities on one hand and then compare that to just how toxic the political climate has become on the other.
All right, Josh Campbell, thanks so much. Stick around. We have more for you, but I want to bring in Pamela Brown right now, our White House correspondent. Pamela, you have some news about a new threat.
That's right. A law enforcement source tells myself, my colleague Josh Campbell, that there was a suspicious package that was addressed to the former Attorney General Eric Holder. It was the wrong mailing address. The return address on that suspicious package was to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So that package was sent back to Debbie Wasserman Schultz because that was the return address. So again, this is new information coming into our newsroom, according to law enforcement sources, that there was an additional package addressed to the former Attorney General Eric Holder under the Obama administration. It was the wrong address, so it was returned to the address on the package to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We can also confirm that on the suspicious packages sent to both former President Obama as well as the Clintons, that the return address on there was to Debbie Wasserman Schultz as well, according to these law enforcement sources that we've been speaking with. We're also getting some information in that the San Diego Union Tribune has been evacuated. The building has been evacuated because there was a stack of suspicious looking packages there. There was no indication at this early stage in the investigation whether those packages are connected in any way to the other suspicious packages that have been sent.
All right, Pamela, just to underline this, we have been told by law enforcement sources that the return address in the package sent to George Soros on Monday was Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Pamela, you're telling us that the packages sent to the Obamas and the Clintons also had the Debbie Wasserman Schultz return address. And just to underline, we do not think that that's real. We don't think Debbie Wasserman Schultz sent these packages. And the reason that her Florida office was evacuated is because this same person, falsely using her return address, sent a package to Eric Holder, the former Attorney General under Obama. It was the wrong address, so it was returned to her Florida office. Is that what I'm understanding?
And of course, we want to underline the point, as you mentioned there, Jake, that we do not believe that, of course, it was that it was supposed to be her return address. Clearly, whoever was behind this put her return address on it, and the package was sent to an address who this person either believed belonged to Eric Holder, the former Attorney General. We don't really know the circumstances around that, but it was the wrong address, and so it was sent to the return address, which was to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. But again, we do not believe that she was actually behind that. Whoever was behind these suspicious packages put her return address on the package to George Soros, as well as to the Obamas, the Clintons, and now we're learning to a package that was addressed to the former Attorney General Eric Holder. Jake.
All right, Pamela, thanks so much. Let me bring back Josh Campbell, who helped break that story with you. So